With my cooking, I turned my cousin's restaurant into the top-rated spot in town. He made $5 million a year, but at year-end, he gave me just 20 grand. I took 20 grand, added my own savings, and bought the diner across the street. My cousin's restaurant went under, but my little diner had lines out the door.
Chef John,
is the stir-fried yellow beef for table 3 ready?
The one-pot stew for tables 3 and 5.
bro. Business was pretty good this year. Here's 20,000, your pay for the year. You've worked hard all year. It's time you took a break.
He made $5 million in profit this year, but he only gave me 20,000.
From now on, let little son run the kitchen.
Alright. I'll leave today.
A year ago, my cousin liked my food and asked me to open a restaurant with him. I shut down my place and brought my apprentice to help him build the restaurant up step by step. But once business took off, he thought I was paid too much and kicked me out.
How's working for my brother for 3 years? You learned everything you needed.
Don't worry, I mastered his tricks long ago.
Just because Sun Kai takes a lower salary, he made an inexperienced guy head chef. He really thinks Sun Kai is me. I trained him myself, so he got all my secrets. I still haven't given Sun Kai the family spice recipe. Too bad, a restaurant only lasts if the food tastes good.
Brother, I hate to leave. Once I finish renovating the 2nd and 3rd floors, I'll invite you to the grand opening next month.
Then let me wish you a booming opening in advance.
Sun Kai doesn't know the seasoning recipe, or even whose fish and shrimp are freshest or where meat is cheapest. Since my cousin thinks this restaurant can still thrive without me, let him wait and see.
If the contract looks good, Mr. Archer, you'll need to pay 2 months' rent, $10,000. But the restaurant across the street is doing insanely well. If you open a little diner here, I'm afraid it'll be hard to make it work.
It's fine. This is the place I want.
Ethan has been busy since early this morning.
He doesn't have much, so he does whatever he can himself.
You were doing pretty well at your brother's restaurant, so what made you want to open a little place of your own?
It's different. This is my own business. You reap what you sow. Boss, do you have a menu? Sorry, we open tomorrow. Please come back then. Everything will be half price. Take care, come again next time. I need to get the ingredients ready. Let's start with 5 pounds.
Guaranteed fresh.
Boss, can you guarantee this beef is delivered fresh every day?
You need a large amount.
I can still deliver daily.
The shop just opened. For now, I'll bring 40 pounds a day. No zombie meat.
There are too few places that cook food.
When I get the chance, gotta stop by your place.
Sure, come by anytime.
Brother's son, no, chef's son. From now on, leave the ingredients to me. I know the rules, spend 100 grand, get 50 back. Hey!
As they say, 10 back on 1, frozen 3 years, 10 back on 2, frozen 5 years, 10 back on 3, need anti-diarrhea. As for the meat Sun Kai bought with a 50% kickback, what kind of meat it really was, probably not even the owner knew. When I was head cook at my cousin's restaurant, I had to get up at 3 each morning to ensure fresh ingredients, going stall to stall and picking carefully. The money I had for supplies was very limited, so I had to budget ingredients and haggle with the vendors. Sometimes, I had to put up with sarcasm and dirty looks.
Can't afford it? Don't touch it.
Boss, have a smoke. Sell me this fish cheaper, help me make the first sale. It was because of how careful and serious I was ever since my cousin's restaurant opened. Not a customer got sick from the food, and its reputation grew until it was ranked #1 in the city's reviews. Only by respecting customers can you win their hearts. If you fool them with trash ingredients, you'll destroy yourself sooner or later. After buying the ingredients, I got a call from my father. He said my cousin was holding a thank you gathering at the family ancestral hall while he was going to announce a piece of great news. I still haven't told my parents I'm no longer working at my cousin's restaurant. In the older generation's eyes, blood is thicker than water. My cousin and I built this. He shouldn't have been unfair to me, but I can't keep it hidden today. My cousin is telling everyone how hard it was to open this restaurant, how he started with a place just over 200 square feet and built it up until it became the top-rated restaurant. But all he talked about, I went through with him. I did more than he did, yet he didn't mention me. I was up at 3 in the morning to pick the ingredients. I brought out our family's secret seasoning to make the food taste better. Customers kept praising us, and holidays, when the restaurant was packed. I was at the stove until midnight, so exhausted I could hardly straighten my back. Even now, I have pain patches on my waist and wrists. In the end, I got only $20,000.
At the same time, I also want to thank the person who helped me the most since the restaurant opened.
Looks like your cousin still cares about you. Work hard with him next year, and we'll feel at ease too.
My girlfriend, Vivian, has helped me the most over the years.
This little punk girl.
Is my cousin's girlfriend. Other than bringing deadbeats to eat and drink for free, she's good for nothing. But my cousin is crazy about her.
Uncles and elders, if Jackson gets rich alone, that's not success. I've decided to offer half the restaurant shares for everyone to invest.
I'm in. I want to invest too.
I watched those uncles.
Take out their savings and pour them into Jackson's restaurant.
I wanted to stop them, but I thought my family has never had a say in the clan, so I let it go.
Son, you're the head cook at the restaurant. Let's buy a few shares in your cousin's place. You made a lot of money this year. As head chef, you must have gotten a big cut too, right?
Auntie, not that much. Cousin owns the restaurant. I just came to help out.
Ha ha ha, why hide it from family? Come on, how much did you get exactly?
The reason I didn't mention 20,000 was because even if I did, these uncles wouldn't believe me. They'd just think I was slandering my cousin, but none of that matters. Soon, they'll find out how much this foolproof business can really make them. When I got home, my parents could tell something was off. They sat around me and asked how much my cousin had given me. 20,000 in total. It just hits the legal minimum annual wage here. He makes 5 million a year.
You work yourself to the bone for him all year, and he only gives you 20 grand.
As my father spoke, he went out to argue with my cousin's family, but I stopped him because I knew my cousin was at the height of his pride then. Going to him now would be asking for humiliation. My parents have held their heads high all their lives. They can't.
My son rises earlier than a rooster and sleeps later than a dog. He always wears pain patches on his back and he works hard for them. They're not human.
I knew that more than the 20 grand a year. What hurt my parents most was that the family bond they had always believed in had been ruthlessly trampled. Mom, Dad, I've already made up my mind. I'm going to open a shop of my own.
You should have gone solo long ago. I support you.
It's better to rely on yourself. You're not young anymore. Dad respects your choice.
Son, here's 50,000 yuan. Your mom and dad aren't capable enough to help much. This is what your dad and I have saved over the past few years for our retirement.
Mom, I can't take this money.
Bro, this is money I earned from work study at school. Use it.
Take it all. We're family. No matter what happens, we should face it together.
The days flew by, and it was time for my cousin's restaurant to open. That morning, our whole family was busy at the little shop. My cousin Zhang Jian somehow found out that I'd opened a shop, and he brought a bunch of uncles over to make fun of me.
Cousin, my restaurant opens tomorrow. There won't be enough parking, so might have to park in front of your shop. Your place gets few customers. We're family, so now we've got to help each other.
Ha 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 ha.
Xiangbi made a huge splash with this restaurant opening. It was the #1 restaurant on the city's top-rated list. I heard a few big shots from the city are coming to show their support.
Cousin, what are you saying? If there are cars tomorrow, park them right in front of my shop. If there's still no room, I'll go talk it over with the neighbors.
All right, brother, it's settled then. Oh, right, I see your little shop doesn't get many customers. When my restaurant opens tomorrow, why don't you come over and serve some tea and pour some water? I'll give you a red envelope with a few $100. Still income, right?
Zhang Ming, you were doing fine working with Jian. Why insist on going solo? Jian graduated from a university. He studied management. You're just a cook. This shop? You can't keep it going.
Ever since these uncles bought shares, every one of them acts like they've struck gold. Now they're all arrogant and full of themselves.
Zhang Ming, how about coming back to cook for your cousin? Don't waste your skills in a place like this.
Andy, you've got that wrong. For a restaurant, first comes the decor, then the marketing. Taste comes last. With my hotel now, even if I tied up a dog in the kitchen, I'd rake in money every day.
I watched my cousin acting smug after his success, and I felt nothing. My cousin is the college graduate of the family. But in the restaurant business, he's a complete amateur.
Cousin, I have things to do, so I'm heading out. When your place can't stay open anymore, come back then.
Your pay will be cut in half.
We're family. As your younger cousin, I can't watch my cousin go hungry.
After showing off in front of all of us, my cousin left feeling very pleased with himself. Father was disappointed by what my cousin did. Our place opens tomorrow, and he wants to crush me again. He had someone park the car in front of our shop, but he never would have guessed that this move of his would make my little shop an instant hit. At 5, my parents and I got up to receive the ingredients we ordered. I personally picked every honest supplier. I still checked every ingredient myself to make sure they were fresh and nothing was off.
Boss, your place may be small, but with so little food, won't it be sold out after 2 or 3 tables? You won't make much money.
The shop opened, and there are few customers. Quality comes before quantity. Even if we make less money, the ingredients must be fresh. After received the ingredients, day was just.
Then I started prepping the food. Meanwhile, my cousin's home food restaurant was lit up and decorated. The media came to interview him. To keep the new restaurant front grand and spacious, there were open spots, but they deliberately directed cars to park right in front of my restaurant. The people stepping out of luxury cars were all well-known people from the town and city, and they were regulars at the restaurant. Those big shots are used to fancy delicacies, but still crave a real taste of home. They want to relive the flavors they grew up with. Back then, I had my cousin ask around where big shots were from, what nearby villages or towns. After that, I went from village to town and tasted local dishes. Only then, when I cooked,
Did I know how sweet or spicy it should be? And it was because of that.
I kept big shots coming to Grand Fortune for a full year, and they still have no idea the kitchen at Grand Fortune already changed hands. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of surprise Sun Kai, my cousin had high hopes for, will give these guests.
Welcome, honored guests. Please, come in, come in.
At that moment, a long line had already formed outside the new restaurant.
How much longer do we have to?
There's a restaurant here too.
Why don't we grab a bite there? Eat what? We came today for the top-rated restaurant in the city.
When Mr. Zhang heard that, his face darkened. He went inside. After checking the time, he figured his cousin's new restaurant was about to serve its opening meal. Zhang Jian told them to add extra chili and spices so the customers would drink more alcohol and soft drink.
President Zhang, these leaders are guests specially invited today to support your opening. Even those bosses worth hundreds of millions would have to wait in line to treat them to meal.
Leaders, don't worry. My restaurant is the #1 top-rated place in our city. I guarantee you'll eat with peace of mind and leave satisfied. How is it? Leaders, how do these dishes taste?
I have another meeting later. Keep eating. After trying my cousin's food, the other big shots also found excuses to leave. Zhang Jian wanted to keep them there. Next time, we'll come back and support Boss Zhang. We have something urgent today. These shots have been everywhere. Every one of them is sharp. They could tell there was something wrong with the ingredients, but none of them said it to my cousin's face. They just made up an excuse and left. Zhang Jian watched those people walk away, scratching his head, confused, but seeing the hotel still packed with guests. My cousin still broke into a smile. Not a single table came into my place by one. My parents saw my cousin's restaurant still had a long line out. They were anxious as hell.
Son, this can't go on.
Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. I just calmed my parents down when those big shots who left early came over.
I knew my chance had come.
This smell. Boss, do you still have anything to eat in your shop? Hey.
Yes, but this is just a small place. We don't have many dishes, nothing like the Grand Fortune restaurant across the street. Boss, how about this? We won't order. Just serve us whatever you're eating. Can you do that?
I knew my chance had come.
Sure, bosses, have a seat wherever you like. The food will be ready in a sec. The shop had customers. My parents were thrilled, rushing to take care of them.
But I knew this was bound to happen. The moment my cousin tried to disgust me by having someone park the car in front of my shop, he was really handing those customers right to me. None of this mattered unless I had the skill to win over these customers. Big restaurants have their way of doing things. A small diner has its own way of doing things. A tiny hole in the wall like mine
has only one secret to winning people over: wok hei. When hot food has just come off the heat of the wok, the seasoning has blended in, but not fully soaked through, still leaving some of the ingredients' own flavor. That's what wok hei is. And that's the down-to-earth taste some diners keep chasing. My parents stood nearby, faces tense, anxiously waiting for those important guests to judge the dishes. After all, they were the first table at my little place, and my parents were hoping they'd bring me some good luck.
The first guest picked up his chopsticks and took a bite of the stir-fried beef with scallions.
I was totally confident in my cooking, but at that moment, I still felt a little nervous.
The moment he tasted the beef with scallions, his eyes lit up, and he nodded to the others. Not bad. This is exactly the taste. Good.
All my nerves and unease gradually faded under their non-stop praise.
The guests nodded in satisfaction and ate. Mom and Dad smiled at this. Seeing this, they quietly let out a sigh of relief.
Getting started is the hardest part. Looks like this little restaurant passed its first test.
After the meal, the important guests wiped their mouths with satisfaction, and my father and I walked them to the car. One of them patted me on the shoulder and said with a sigh, "Kid, thanks for not letting us leave disappointed today."
But tell me the truth about the taste of your dishes. The head chef at Fortune House before. Was it you?
What's done is done. Let it go.
I wondered why the food at Hongfu restaurant tastes off now, so they changed the head chef. More than just the taste is off. One bite and I could tell the ingredients weren't fresh. Boss Zhang really boxed himself in.
After promising father they'd visit often, the guests got in the car and left. And this scene happened to be seen by those waiting at my cousin's restaurant door in line.
Boss, do you have any food left?
Yes, right this way. Soon, the second table at my little restaurant was eating too.
This is insanely good. This is seriously heavenly. Boss, your cooking is amazing, on par with those 5-star hotel chefs.
If you really like it, you can leave the restaurant some good reviews online. I'll give you 20% off this meal. Last year, cousin's restaurant
made it to #1 on the county's review list. My cousin thought it was because his marketing was innovative, but actually, most of it came from diners giving praise on their own.
Boss, we'll leave a good review. No need for a discount. As long as it still tastes like this when we come back, that's enough.
Alright, I promise you, the taste of this place will never change for as long as I live. Only truly delicious food earns heartfelt praise from diners, not reviews bought with gifts and guilt-tripping customers into leaving good reviews. After a full day of business, my place had served 10 tables. Sales only came to 3,000 yuan.
Looking at the post my cousin put a moments. I wasn't jealous because I knew that 180,000 yuan in a single day wasn't the starting point of good fortune restaurant. It was the end.
My cousin's restaurant made 180,000 yuan opening day, while my diner only made 3,000.
180,000 a day? By year end, dividends for relatives should be at least a few million, right?
A few million? At 180,000 a day for 360 days a year, it'll make 60 or 70 million. And we relatives who invested, wouldn't everyone make a fortune then?
Those relatives who put all their savings into my cousin's restaurant are still dreaming of getting a cut, not knowing. From the first day my cousin opened, their dream was falling apart bit by bit.
And after winning the first round, my cousin couldn't wait to come over and show off.
Cousin, I brought you some leftovers from today's customers. Man, we were just way too busy today. We made nearly 200,000 on opening day.
Congrats! You open too?
How come there's nobody here?
Few tables came in today. We made a little over 3,000.
Ha! 3,000 bucks.
Go ahead, you won't be laughing for long.
Cousin, your place is pretty small. Taking some of my walk-ins could still make you money. I make over 100 grand a day. Giving you a few thousand is enough to keep you fed and clothed.
Zhang Jian showed off again, then drove off in his BMW, completely satisfied. As for me, I pulled out my phone right away
and opened a review site.
On the local food rankings, first place was still my cousin's restaurant, and those high-rated reviews were still there. But if you scroll down, you'd see that in just a few short hours, quite a few low-score bad reviews had popped up. Looking at all these new reviews popping up, I already knew where this was going. Then I checked my shop's ratings. There were only a few, but the positive rate was 100%. Reply, folks.
This gem is right across from Home Food Restaurant.
The owner's food is really good, and it's cheap too. Go for it.
Young people these days really keep it simple and direct. But that kind of wording is often what grabs people most. Only $9.97 for now. But I believe that as long as I put my heart into every dish, the top spot will be mine. It turned out I was right.
The next day, as soon as I opened the shop, I saw those customers from yesterday already waiting outside. They brought a few friends.
Boss, we're back for another meal.
Word spread fast, and my little restaurant got busier and busier. On the best days, each table could turn over 5 times, and daily sales rose from 3,000 to 8,000, then 10,000, 20,000. At the peak, we even made 30,000 in a day. Outside my cousin's Grand Fortune restaurant, there were still long lines, but day by day, they kept getting shorter. And almost without exception, the customers leaving Grand Fortune restaurant all ended up coming to my place. During the first 3 days of my cousin's restaurant opening, he kept posting daily sales on social media. 200,000 on day 2, 220. The whole family kept praising him. Just when everyone was guessing when his sales would break 300,000, he stopped posting. I knew why. The opening rush at Grand Fortune restaurant was over, and sales were dropping fast. By the 5th day, there was no line at cousin's restaurant anymore. Some people still came because it was ranked #1 on the food review list. But compared to the grand opening crowd, it already felt quiet. This old man used to be a regular at my cousin's restaurant. He came every few days to eat. He only ordered 2 simple dishes, then left after eating. More than once, my cousin called cheap behind his back. But I knew the old man's background was unusual. One day after work, on my way home, I saw him get into an unusual looking car. I don't know cars, so I looked it up online later and found it was a Hongqi State guest model. And even with money, you still might not be able to buy one. When Grand Fortune restaurant opened, it had long lines every day. The old man wasn't. He waited until today, when there was no need to stand in line, and then he came to support my cousin. Today he ordered the same 2 home-style dishes.
Boss, these dishes don't taste right.
Everyone knew the food at cousin's restaurant was bad, but to save face, no one said so. Now an elder spoke. That was tearing away the last layer of pretense. But the cousin, regardless of who was right or wrong, pointed at the old man's face and accused him of throwing his hotel was so big, yet he took up a whole table alone and even made trouble on purpose.
Boss Jang, I've eaten here for years. I really don't want to watch you ruin the good name of Fortune Restaurant. First, this fish isn't fresh. It was dead and frozen in the fridge, right? The other dish tastes off. It wasn't stir-fried fresh, was it? It's a pre-made dish. When I ate here, the portions were about a third bigger than now.
The old man was unusually calm. It tore mask off Grand Fortune Restaurant.
With business this good at Grand Fortune Restaurant, saying I'd ruin my own reputation is a joke. My cousin got furious because of it.
He had security throw the old man out. My cousin driving the customer away was caught on video and uploaded online. It quickly became a trending story. The news sparked discussion among netizens. People who had eaten at my cousin's restaurant also started
complaining that the food was awful.
The ingredients weren't fresh and caused diarrhea.
The food at Grand Fortune Restaurant is pretty average. That little Ming's kitchen across the alley actually tastes way better.
You've eaten at Ming's kitchen too? The owner's stir fries there are insanely good.
But what shocked me even more was what I heard from customers in my little shop.
The old man's real identity.
Who he really was.
Did you hear? The chairman of our provincial chamber of commerce was eating at Prosperity Restaurant and got thrown out.
If you ask me, Zhang Jian's business is finished. I never imagined that plain old man was the chairman of the provincial chamber of commerce, but very few people knew. The old man seemed unwilling to stir up too much public talk, but from that day on, he never went back to Prosperity Restaurant. Later, I heard several big shots said Prosperity Restaurant would be shut down within half a year. At the same time, public opinion quickly spilled into real life. I have to thank my cousin for that. He spent money hiring trolls to stir things up. He spent money hiring internet trolls to flame others, and my restaurant was closest to Prosper Fortune Tavern, so it was often dragged into it online. My place suddenly was pushed into the spotlight. More people came to eat and take photos, and the tables kept turning over. In just one lunch rush. By the afternoon, the line showed no sign of getting shorter. It had stretched out of the alley. Luckily, my cousin's restaurant was this packed every day, so I could still handle this. This time all the money was mine. My sister helped serve dishes and run the register. It was hard work, but the girl enjoyed every minute of it. That same day, my cousin's restaurant also hit a record high. But by lunchtime, Grand Fortune Restaurant didn't have a single table of guests. When my cousin saw the endless line outside my little shop, his world fell apart.
That's impossible.
Like a madman, my cousin ran over, trying to see what was going on. What surprised me was that just as my cousin reached my door, that red Banner State car actually pulled up in front of my little shop. The Provincial Chamber of Commerce chairman, the one my cousin had thrown out of the restaurant, slowly stepped out of the car. That's the owner of Grand Fortune Restaurant. Why is he?
Haven't you heard? The shop owner was once the head chef at Grand Fortune Restaurant. Business over there isn't doing so well now. Trying to call the head chef back again?
When things were good, they fired him.
Now business is bad, and they beg him back? Shameless.
My cousin came to see what was happening, but he couldn't handle the gossip and left in embarrassment. And that old man
Didn't want special treatment either. He just came in and asked 2 questions. Boss, you used to be the head chef at Hong Fu Restaurant?
Yes, then the usual. 2 simple home-style dishes.
You don't mind me taking up a table by myself, do you?
You're joking. Once you walk in, you're a guest. A full table or 2 small dishes, both are goodwill.
No cutting corners. Good, now that's how you do business. Thanks for the trouble, boss.
I put on an apron and went to the kitchen. No fancy nice skills. Just simple but fresh ingredients. And solid portions. That's what homestyle cooking is. The old man took a few bites and didn't praise it. He just did the unthinkable and drank a quarter kilo of liquor.
Boss, like you said, it's hard to please everyone. It's not hard to keep the flavor the same. What's hard is staying true to your original heart. Don't go down Prosper Luck's old road. I'll be back tomorrow.
I've learned. After seeing off the Provincial Chamber of Commerce chairman, it was still packed. We were busy until 10:30 at night. The line outside disappeared. Only a few tables were left, and I finally caught my breath. Then, my cousin came to the door again with Viddy Lewis. Zhang Jian looked upset, and my cousin didn't know why. Why isn't the restaurant open with 5 million doing as well as my alley shop that cost only 20 grand? Seeing the shabby place and the cheap tables and chairs, cousin looked worse. The more he looked, the madder he got. He couldn't figure it and was sure we pulled something to steal his business on purpose.
Nice one, Zach Miller. I treated you well, and you're stealing my business?
Jake Miller, at the end of last year, you said you were opening a big restaurant. And you personally ended my job with Fortune House. I'm running my business fair and square. How am I affecting you?
The rumors were true. The owner was the former head chef of Fortune House.
And Fortune House dares cause trouble for others. Don't they know how awful their food is? The food I packed up from Fortune House last time, my dog ate better and cooked 3 dishes and a soup.
Ha ha ha.
The customer's teasing made my cousin's face turn red, and he glared at me viciously.
Xiang Ming, you'll regret this.
My cousin left with the little thug girl, and my parents' baseless blame wore away the last bit of family feeling. It was gone. My father patted me on the shoulder.
We've done nothing wrong, so we don't need to fear others' jealousy.
I nodded. Knew. My cousin wouldn't let this go easily. He'd bet his entire fortune on that restaurant, along with investments from several relatives in the clan. If the restaurant went under, he would go bankrupt, and his relatives in the clan wouldn't let him off either. I saw the booming scene in my shop and smiled. But what does that have to do with our family? I just want to run my store well, so the family can make more money and give mom, dad, and my little sister a better life. After closing, dad shut the door. Our family sat together, counting the day's sales. None could believe it. In just one day, our little shop made $58,000, $2,000 short of $60,000, even after rent, utilities, and ingredients. The net profit was over $30,000.
That was one day's sales.
At my cousin's place, I looked out the window. The cashier counter in his restaurant was empty. My cousin, furious, slammed his fist onto the counter. 1 week after my little shop opened, its sales surpassed my cousin's big restaurant for the first time. The reputation of cousin's new restaurant. It all fell apart in just 1 week. Just as our little shop was doing better and better, my father suggested renting the shop next door too, to expand. Our whole family was fully on board with that idea.
Father said he would handle the negotiation himself.
Having my whole family there, standing by me like this, was something I had never felt before. So I had to work even harder. To repay my family's support. An unexpected guest came to my little shop. The apprentice who betrayed me showed up today with gifts in hand. He said he came to show me respect. Anyone could tell what he was really after. His cousin's restaurant must be doing badly, so he sent him here to secretly learn my craft, hoping this way could turn around his failing restaurant. What his cousin didn't know was that a big reason the restaurant was doing so badly was this apprentice of mine skimming huge kickbacks and using dirt cheap ingredients. Now he wanted to sneak into the kitchen and steal my skills, but my family dragged me back by force.
Master, if my skills are lousy, wouldn't that ruin your name too?
And my apprentice was actually still outside, shamelessly yelling.
Just teach me a few more tricks. If I learn them, it makes you look good too.
I have nothing more to teach you. Everything I should have taught you, I already taught you years ago.
You must be holding something back. Don't think I don't know. The reason your food tastes better than mine is that secret recipe.
My apprentice accused me of not teaching him the real secret to cooking, but he didn't know I gave him the recipe on his first day as my apprentice.
If it weren't for that secret recipe, how could your little shop have what we have?
Fortune Restaurant's doing great. You were right. I really do have a secret recipe that makes food taste better.
Give it to me. Name your price, and I'll pay it.
It's not about money.
Then what do you want?
He could never learn my secret recipe. My apprentice wouldn't believe it.
But with how he cooks, my secret recipe.
There's no way he'd ever learn it. He still wanted to keep making trouble, so I warned him if he caused any more trouble, I'd ask him where all those ingredients he bought for the restaurant really came from. My father quickly rented the shop next door and turned my little place into a small 2-courtyard restaurant. With more space, the restaurant could seat more diners, so logically, the lines should have gotten shorter. But things didn't turn out the way we expected.
The line didn't shrink at all.
It kept getting longer. After my mother asked around, we learned our place was number 10 on the top-rated list. We were ranked number 1 on the restaurant list. And because my cousin's reputation had crashed, while our place was right across from it, many people to cousin's restaurant came to ours instead. After all that happened, my cousin's new restaurant fell from number 1 on the list all the way down to 5th place. The name of Prosperity Restaurant was built by diners. Out of every 10 tables, 7 or 8 left a good review. The only reason he got such a high approval rating was his marketing plan, the one he was so proud of. My cousin spent $5 million opening a restaurant and no one came to eat. I spent $20,000 on a little shop and a line formed outside. My cousin couldn't accept losing. To bring customers back, he decided to market heavily. His restaurant used to sell Buddha jumps over the wall was over $1,000 a serving. With a group deal, only 100. Grade A Wagyu for 200. Premium salmon, 99 a plate.
You really think those customers came for your cooking? They just came because your food was cheap. Those customers won't come crawling back like dogs.
And things went like my cousin expected. After promotion and brutal discount deals, the restaurant's business got better. At the same time, my little shop wasn't as packed as before.
My cousin thought the price cuts at his new restaurant would crush my shop, but instead, I breathed in relief. Before that, my shop was booming. We had more customers each day than we could handle. My parents were already at their limit, but kept it to themselves so they wouldn't hold me back.
All parents are the same. They ignore themselves so they won't hold kids back.
These are old health issues. It's nothing. Why waste money going to the hospital?
What my cousin did gave us a chance to catch our breath in busy lives, and let me take my parents to the hospital for a checkup.
My cousin posted on social media again. It showed the restaurant packed again, and the relatives praised him again in the comments. I left my cousin a comment too, keep it up.
This time, I truly hoped my cousin's restaurant promotion would last a few more days, so our family could get a few more days off.
But the second I posted that comment, my cousin called. I picked up, and right away from the other end came his furious roar. It seemed my two-word comment set him off, and he started yelling at me.
Xiangming, what do you mean? Making me look bad in front of a family? Don't think you've won because your shop ranks higher than mine in the reviews. Until the end, I'll never lose.
So my cousin thought I was trying to make him look bad, and what really made him furious was that my little restaurant had climbed past his in the ratings. Been busy lately, haven't checked the rankings.
Before I knew it,
my restaurant had already jumped to 4th place in county ratings, while my cousin's place had dropped to 6th.
No wonder cousin ran discounts. Home Fu restaurant's spot on the ratings list was a gold sign. If that gold sign was gone, its reputation would crash. After I got home, I decided to hire more waiters for the restaurant, so mom and dad could get proper rest. But they were stubborn.
They said no. Your place is getting started. We don't feel safe hiring strangers. While your dad and I are still fit enough, we'd better help you out for a few more years.
I held my parents' hands. They worked so hard to help my business that they could barely straighten their backs, and I was telling them to stop working. Mom, Dad, just relax and get some rest. I'll make sure to pick some good new hires. My sister is helping at the shop. My parents were still hesitant, and in the end, I had no choice. So I told them if they were worried, they could come to the shop often and keep an eye on things. Then they finally felt at ease. My cousin's restaurant promo didn't last long. Soon my shop was packed again, while his restaurant had fewer customers. His business took another sharp dive. The diner said that during the promotion, the food at his restaurant really was cheaper. But the portions were tiny, and the quality was pretty awful too. After trying it for novelty, customers came back to my shop. As customer numbers kept dropping, my cousin was in trouble. Cutting prices at his restaurant wasn't like a supermarket sale. The dishes had to be prepared in advance every day. Now fewer customers, and the dishes aren't selling. They sit in the back kitchen, moldy and stinking. Every day, the ingredient loss comes to over 10,000 yuan. On the 4th day of my cousin's restaurant discount promotion, business cooled again. They were losing over 100,000 a day. Meanwhile, long lines formed outside my place. I was cooking and flipping the wok non-stop, and my hands were about to give out. Seeing how packed it was, my sister suggested expanding again and renting the upstairs units too. I did a rough calculation. If I could take over 2 units upstairs, I'd have 3 more private rooms and 10 more tables. When business is good, daily revenue could probably break 100,000. But if we really grew that big, the kitchen would definitely have to expand again. I can't handle it alone as the only chef. At least, we'd need 2 more prep cooks, 3 chopping station workers, and 2 or 3 more chefs. My parents felt that keeping things as they are now is good enough. Expanding is risky. As long as the family has a steady life, that's enough. And they also brought up my former apprentice, Sun Kai. If the kitchen hires another ungrateful brat like him, I'm afraid it'll bring trouble again. 2 months after my restaurant opened, it expanded again. In the end, I convinced my parents. I took over the 2 storefronts upstairs. My restaurant was about the same size as my cousin's Hong Fu restaurant last year. It took cousin more than 3 years to get this far, but restaurant did it in 2 months. A few honest, shy young men stood before me. Once the restaurant expansion was settled, it was time to expand the kitchen. My parents screened them and found me a few honest kids from the countryside. My father said with confidence that he checked young men out. Their family backgrounds and life experience showed they were hardworking, dependable, honest. He promised they'd never secretly learn the trade and betray their master. I smiled and shook my head. Then I personally led the 3 young men into the kitchen and taught them how to cook.
I was never afraid of anyone stealing my skills. I'd never hidden cooking secrets from anyone. My 3 apprentices watch me cook. As for whether they can learn anything,
that depends on how hard they work. My cousin Ndidian Lu entered the restaurant. His hair was messy, and he looked exhausted. He'd been kicked out of his own restaurant. 2 months later, my cousin knelt and begged me to go back. He carried gifts and gave my father an awkward smile, while Vivian Lu looked unwilling.
Uncle, we came to see you.
My parents looked at my cousin with disgust. They clearly didn't welcome him, but he still shamelessly came in and sat down. My cousin looked around, stunned by how big it had become. He was shocked at how fast my little restaurant had grown. He never imagined that the cousin he humiliated with $20,000 2 months ago and threw out the door would achieve in just a few months what had taken him 3 or 4 years. My cousin nudged the gifts forward. With a confident look on his face, my cousin finally said why he come, after a brief moment of shock.
Cousin, I want you to come back and help me. Let's make it big together again.
Looking at him now, I thought back to 2 or 3 years ago when his restaurant was on the verge of closing and he came to my house to beg me for help. No, back then he was more humble and sincere. I saw the gifts on the table. They weren't as expensive as the ones now, but they were more useful.
I shook my head and refused his offer to be head chef at his restaurant, even though he named an astronomical figure. Seeing me shake my head, he immediately slammed the table.
Furious and embarrassed, Xiangming, you're guarding the shop. How much can you make in a month? I'll pay you double.
My cousin raised a finger.
50,000. 60,000. I'll give you 70,000 a month. Will you work for me?
As he spoke, my cousin picked up a briefcase and opened it. It was packed with cash, laid out in front of everyone.
He probably thought I'd never seen real money before. He came to knock me out with cash. Last month, I brought a bag of money to the bank. What he didn't know was that my little shop had already made over 300,000 in a single month.
I pushed the money back in front of my cousin. Once bitten, twice shy. You should find someone else, cousin. My cousin slammed his fist hard on the table. He didn't expect me to turn him down again. He glared like he could cut me to pieces. My parents and sister moved behind me. My cousin picked up his briefcase.
Then he left with Lucy.
Zachary, sooner or later I'll prove it.
Even without you, my restaurant can still stay open.
My cousin had always hated losing. The fact that he came to me this time meant his restaurant was probably in serious trouble. His restaurant was empty. 2 months after opening, it was nearing shutdown. People passed by non-stop outside. But not a single one walked in. All day, not one table was filled. My cousin stared at the bill, dazed. With losses growing, he had no idea what to do. He'd already tried every trick. There was no way he could turn things around in so short a time. Just when he was about to give up, his girlfriend showed up at the restaurant with a group. The thugs pointed at the menu and started ordering the most expensive dishes. Every time Lucy's brother came by, he picked the priciest items and acted generous. My cousin waited on them. And this big brother didn't just come eat by himself. He kept bringing more and more street punks until the whole restaurant was packed. More punks poured into the restaurant, and cousin was thrilled. After days, his restaurant was full again. A bunch of punks drank hard and bragged loudly inside the restaurant, but when it came time to pay, trouble started. My cousin handed the bill to one of the punks, but the guy shoved it away.
Put it on my tab, old man. Think I can't cover this money?
My cousin was about to blow up, but Lucy stopped him. Then she grabbed the bill. She ripped it to pieces. Lily Lou snatched the bill from her cousin's hand and tore it up. His girlfriend didn't just rip up the bill. She wanted him to pay off the thugs.
No, my big brother is a big deal around here. If he eats here, how could he not pay? Ever heard of putting it on the tab? We settle it all at once when it adds up. Besides, my big brother knows a real boss in the underworld. When the time comes, introduce you. Then why worry about the restaurant having—
The cousin's angry look instantly turned to understanding.
Sounds good, sounds good.
As long as you're willing to help out my little business.
And introduce me to that big shot. You can put it on my tab anytime.
After getting my cousin's approval, the big shot Lu Weiwei kept talking about almost showed up every day with a huge crowd. They came to my cousin's restaurant to eat, but every time they put it on the tab, watching the unpaid bills grow, my cousin was furious. Though he was upset, there was little he could do. For one, they hadn't introduced him to the big shot. And for another, even though those thugs kept eating on credit every day, they really did bring a lot more buzz to the restaurant. Soon, the number of regular walk-in customers was higher than usual, but a few days later, the relatives who had invested in my cousin all came to inspect the restaurant together. My eldest uncle and third uncle brought the relatives to my restaurant first. Before going to my cousin's place, they stopped by to look. When my oldest uncle and third uncle saw my restaurant, it was packed, and many people were still waiting in line.
A look of
They were a little surprised our restaurant was doing so well, but since they had all invested in our cousin's place, they still looked down on my family. My eldest uncle walked into the restaurant,
pointing at
You're selling this cheap. Even if business is good, you won't make much money. You'll be working hard your whole life.
Hearing my eldest uncle's sarcasm, my father felt awful, but he didn't embarrass him publicly.
You kid are useless. Your parents are so old and they've never had a good life. And they're still running around helping you. This is such a sin.
Mother stepped.
She pointed at third uncle's nose and cursed.
If we don't help our own son, who else would we help? You've got great vision, guts, huh? Throwing away your life savings on someone else. Eldest uncle.
Third uncle's face changed. They still didn't know cousin's restaurant had lost money since last month. They could barely pay the staff and couldn't cover the rent for the second half of the year. Eldest uncle and third uncle were red in the face.
They pointed at my parent.
Eldest uncle and the others argued with my parents, saying we were making it up, jealous that cousin's business was doing well. My sister, Sylvia Stone, pulled out her
She held it.
let them see it with their own eyes. Fortune House dropping to 20th on top rated list. The reviews are nothing but bad ones. And the new number 1 is our Mingy restaurant, the little place they were just mocking. Uncle and third uncle were left red-faced. They hurried off with the family. After they left, they rushed to our cousin's restaurant. If the losses were that bad, the savings they spent half their lives building would go down the drain. Uncle and third uncle walked into the restaurant and found it packed. They let out a sigh of relief, thinking our family was making it all up. My cousin's restaurant was booming. How could it be closing down, while the two were still talking about going out later? How could they scold our whole family? Then they bumped into a street punk. The punk grabbed uncle's collar. A fight broke out between them. Uncle and third uncle were stubborn. They were the restaurant owner's family elders and told the punk not to be so blind, but punks who run around the streets don't care about that. They each got slapped. My cousin happened to come downstairs and saw it. The commotion in the restaurant alerted my cousin. He came out and happened to see uncle and third uncle surrounded by a bunch of punks. When uncle and third uncle saw my cousin, they hurried over. At his restaurant, they were beaten by those punks. But my cousin acted as if he saw nothing. He held his forehead, face full of impatience. Lately, he'd already had enough of these punks. He was fed up, and now they'd beaten up his elder. Pointing at the punks, my cousin was furious. He was about to blow up. But Lou Vivi stopped him. Standing in front of the punks, she slapped him across the face. My cousin was stunned.
My big brother's been bringing you business every single day lately, and he even helped set you up with some major players. And you still dare make unhappy?
Major players, major.
There are so.
You've been eating here for free. I haven't seen a big shot. I think you're screwing with me. My cousin pointed at everyone there and roared. For days, these punks have been coming here every day and freeloading. He's lost over 100 grand on ingredients alone, and turned the restaurant into a mess. I heard there were 4 or 5 complaints for disturbing neighbors. My cousin grabbed the bill and pulled out his phone to call the police. He didn't want to be the sucker anymore. He wanted to call the cops and recover his losses.
Brother Tiger is coming tomorrow. As long as he's willing to, he'll fix the restaurant's losses.
My cousin's fingers stopped at the call button. After earnest pleading, the 2 slaps from my eldest uncle and third uncle were for nothing. He swallowed his grievance and left in silence. My cousin waited outside the restaurant with a hopeful look. After what felt like forever, when his restaurant was about to give out, he finally saw the big shot Lily Lou mentioned, the man who could solve his troubles. Brother Tiger stepped out of a luxury car. His upper body had tattoos, and he looked arrogant. My cousin stared at Brother Tiger. He could hardly believe it. He never imagined the big shot his girlfriend mentioned looked like this. Lu Weiwei tugged at Zhang Jian and quickly went up to greet him warmly. His girlfriend used to be nothing more than a street punk. The big shot he admired looked more like Chan Honam from the movies, a real triad type. Inside the restaurant, though the cousin was reluctant, the punk girl idolized Brother Tiger and told him about the troubles her cousin had been dealing with, including stealing my cousin's business. She blurted everything to Brother Tiger, hoping he could help settle it.
Just a small restaurant owner. I'll take care of it for my brother-in-law tomorrow.
Brother Tiger.
How will you deal with my cousins? Brother Tiger frowned, displeased.
Lily nudged cousin. Keep your nose out of underworld business. In this world, there's nothing Brother Tiger can't handle.
Brother Tiger sat in the place of honor with a leg crossed, while Lily lit his cigarette. To bring me down. My cousin handed over the last family money to the mob, but he didn't expect Brother Tiger and his to be money hungry. After taking the cash, they might not do the job. They wanted to use a chance to squeeze more money. Zane felt disgusted, but he still took out an envelope and handed it to Brother Tiger. Brother Tiger felt the thickness, then agreed to get it done soon. Lily beamed and kept flattering Brother Tiger.
The next day,
Inside the little diner, I was in the kitchen teaching the new apprentice to
Zhang's parents were wiping down the table.
the whole family looked happy in it. I thought training staff early would make things easier for my parents, but I never expected my cousin to bring in street thugs to deal with us.
Right at the dinner rush, Brother Hu and his gang came.
Just about to walk into the diner.
My sister was about to tell them to get it.
Who knew Brother Tiger and
Would drive a table of customers away.
then they took their seats,
Brother Tiger sat there.
glaring at the customers who hadn't left.
My father heard commotion in the kitchen and hurried out.
Brother Tiger looked up at the customers, afraid of being dragged into trouble.
They just left.
The waiter handed over the menu. Brother Tiger started ordering. Brother Tiger ordered every most expensive dish in the place, and a few cases of beer too.
At first, my father didn't want to serve their table.
But I knew if they didn't come today,
They'd come tomorrow. We had to face this sooner or later. When they were almost done eating, Brother Tiger suddenly grabbed a blonde-haired punk.
There's something wrong with the food.
what kind of crappy place is this?
Brother Tiger demanded $5,000 from me and kept shouting that the food was dirty. He just wanted to ruin my business. I took off my chef's hat and pointed at my family and the waitstaff. The meaning was obvious, no one in the shop had blonde hair. Sir, if you're here to eat, you're welcome. If you're here to cause trouble, I'm sorry, but you've come to the wrong place.
Boss, you can play with food, but not with your words. I found something in the food there, so compensation is fair. Isn't that only right?
I knew he was here to make trouble.
But I didn't expect that after I exposed him, he wouldn't back down. Instead, he got even more arrogant and even tried to hit someone.
At that critical moment,
Someone stepped forward.
No one saw it coming. Someone would step up at a time like this.
When the thugs saw their boss get taken down, they grabbed chairs and charged in, but they were no match. It didn't take much to pin them all to the floor.
the regular customer reached into his pocket
And pulled out his badge to show who.
The thugs stopped resisting.
No one saw it come.
This regular diner
Was actually a police officer.
The officer had seen the whole thing.
After just a few questions, Tiger Bro came clean and confessed that his cousin was behind it. When the police cars arrived,
They cuffed Tiger Bro, his gang,
the cousin too.
and took them back to the station to be dealt with by law.
Later, the officers told me that Tiger Bro really was a big shot.
Big shot in prison. Years ago, he stabbed someone. He had finished his sentence and gotten out recently. After my cousin and Tiger Bro were released, the case of him sending people to smash up my shop was classified as provoking trouble.
He was locked up for only half a month, then released. When my cousin returned to the.
He found it deserted and completely run down.
While my cousin was locked up those few days, his restaurant had basically shut down.
Many of the staff had already run off
My cousin worked up the nerve.
to settle tab for the past few days with Brother Tiger.
He figured getting back even half would be something, but Brother Tiger's face suddenly changed. He gave my cousin a shove,
Brother Tiger refused to pay and cursed him out, saying he didn't know the rules when rolling with him.
and he was nitpicking over meal money when he should have shown some respect.
My cousin's face turned red with embarrassment, and he kept his head down, silent.
The more Brother Tiger cursed, the more he thought he was right.
He didn't think there was anything wrong with freeloading at all. He chewed out his younger cousin again. The cousin squatted, and Tiger spat.
Then he swaggered off.
His younger cousin got scolded in public and was humiliated.
He didn't get the money and got beaten up. Then he saw Tiger's colors. He looked toward Zhang Ming's shop. Only then did he understand. Turns out, all the money he'd made before was because of me. He wanted to take the young punk girl with him to apologize. Even if it meant giving up shares, he must bring me back. He returned, pushed the door open, and froze. The room was empty. Now that he'd faced reality, he planned to go apologize with the young punk girl, but the moment he walked in, he found the girl was long gone while he was locked up.
She didn't leave a single thing of value in the house. His cousin rushed inside and found only a note on the table. What it said hit him like a bolt from the blue. She said it straight. She was only with him for his money, and now that he was broke, there was no way she'd stay and suffer with him. She got on Brother Tiger's motorcycle, wrapped her arms around his waist, and rode off into the distance. Turns out she had already hooked up with her so-called big brother, while his cousin was getting out of prison. She ran off with him without a second thought. From the start, she never cared about his cousin. In the last line, she admitted the baby in her belly belonged to someone else. Then came a crueler truth. His cousin had lost love in his future. The double blow made him break down. Even the child he had been waiting for wasn't his. After betrayed by his brother, dumped by his girlfriend, and seeing his career fall apart, my cousin suddenly burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Ah, Zhang Ming. I still have Zhang Ming. Need to find Zhang Ming. My cousin ran out and grabbed a stranger. He shouted at him, Zhang Ming, come back. I'll give you 50 grand a month. No, I'll give you 100 grand a month. $1 million. Please come back. Non-stop blows broke my cousin. He went mad. My cousin rushed up to a passerby and dropped to his knees. He thought everyone was me. Then he knelt there begging me to come back. The tavern across the street was locked, with a sign, closed for transfer. Meanwhile, my restaurant was packed. In the end, Fortune House shut down. Sun Kai, that arrogant employee, lost his job. With nowhere to go, he had no choice but to come back to me. Sun Kai stood outside the restaurant in ragged clothes, worn out. He paced for a long time, too scared to go in. Back then, Sun Kai sided with the boss and then he ran the restaurant down. No one would hire him after that. The money he had saved also vanished in a failed hotel investment. With nowhere else to go, Sun Kai gritted his teeth and walked into the restaurant. He went to the kitchen and admitted his mistake. Out of options, he said he was confused and hoped to come back and work at the restaurant.
For the sake of being master and apprentice, he only asked for a chance to earn a meal.
I stopped what I was doing.
I looked at Sun Kai.
Then I shook my head. I didn't go soft, and I wasn't moved by the pitiful look.
Once bitten, twice shy. I turned him down calmly.
Sun Kai was about to kneel.
I stopped him.
The hurt back then cut too deep. I could let go, but this restaurant is my whole family's hard work. I can't let an unstable risk stay here. Sun Kai went pale.
He froze, looking hopeless. Sun Kai thought since he was my only apprentice, even if I wouldn't let him cook, I'd keep him on as a waiter. He never imagined I'd turn him down flat. I stopped looking away and went back to work. Sun Kai left the restaurant in shame. The cold wind howled through the streets. Sun Kai's hair was a mess, his thin clothes and dull eyes. After being turned away by Zhang Ming, he had no way out. No job, no money. He drifted onto the streets. Under a bridge, Sun Kai shivered from the cold. Sun Kai kept slapping himself. With nowhere to turn, he woke up and thought about what had happened and how he got here. He had no one to blame but himself. Sun Kai sought work everywhere, at construction sites, diners, even hauling sandbags, but he was lazy and spoiled. He had no skills, no strength, and a bad record, so he was rejected everywhere. He aimed high but never. With his bad character, no one wanted to take him in. Sun Kai swallowed his pride and found work unloading vegetables at the market. He worked in freezing wind, moving goods until he was drenched in sweat, but never complained. He worked hard and gritted his teeth through pain and exhaustion. He became quiet and reserved.
After hitting rock,
Sun Kai turned over a new leaf. He stopped scamming and only wanted to earn an honest living and start over. Holding his daily wages, Sun Kai took out a cloth pouch and put the money inside. Scraping by with manual labor, he finally understood how hard earning money is. He completely broke his old bad habits and started his life over. Sun Kai came to my restaurant and gave a deep bow. He was full of guilt and knew he had no face to see Zhang Ming again. That bow was an apology and a goodbye. Sun Kai slung his little cloth bag over his shoulder and got on a train out of town. At noon, the restaurant was buzzing and every table was full.
I ran it honestly, so it was packed daily. After the tavern across the street shut down, the customers came to me. Word spread fast. People came from other towns to eat here. Business got better, and even after the expansion, the place still couldn't hold the stream of customers. People lined up every day.
I wanted to make the restaurant bigger so they wouldn't have to wait as long and the business could grow even more.
I brought in the landlord and signed the lease for nearby shops. I planned to knock through the walls and add seats. No flashy decor, just clean and practical. I wanted the place to be bigger, but I also couldn't let it affect the normal business of the restaurant. During the expansion, I stayed at the restaurant the whole time. It got a makeover, and customers no longer had to squeeze onto little stools while waiting. Even the neighbors passing by couldn't help praising it. They said that with Boss Zhang opening here, their business had picked up too. We didn't make a big fuss over the grand opening. My parents and I just did a simple ribbon cutting, and the place filled up in no time. After the expansion, the restaurant was packed, dishes came out smoothly, and everything ran perfectly. By then, I was making over $1 million a month. And sales kept climbing. The news quickly got back to our relatives, and they were instantly green with envy. They started setting their sights on me. Then 3 rude people suddenly barged into the restaurant, Zhang Ming's distant uncle, aunt, and cousin. Those relatives were lazy. Earlier, they jumped into bad investments, lost all their savings, and ended up in debt. When they heard my restaurant had expanded, they rushed over. My uncle plopped down at a table and cried about how much money he had lost.
Zhang Ming, you used to be the head chef at Hongfu Restaurant. The place I invested in was Hongfu Restaurant too. You need to pay us back for the money we lost. You'd better make it up to us.
I ignored them, so I turned to leave.
We're family. Now that you've made it, you should help us pay off the debt. Otherwise, you're forgetting where you came from.
I'm telling you, that's impossible.
Hey, everyone, come look. This is outrageous. Ah.
If playing nice doesn't work, they'll get tough. When this bunch of relatives failed to force me to pay, they tried to guilt trip me into giving in, but I didn't budge and decided to call the police.
The relatives spat out a few harsh words and left in disgrace. They stared at Hongfu Restaurant in shock, seeing it in ruins. The relatives who had followed their cousin into investing in the place ended up losing everything. They poured in the savings of most of their lives, hoping to recover the loss. They almost turned the whole restaurant upside down. But the cousin's outside creditors were after them for money too. Now everything in Hongfu Restaurant was part of a court auction. In the end, they recovered nothing. The creditors demanded a huge sum more. Holding the contract, the creditors showed the relatives the clauses. The investment agreement they had signed with their cousin clearly stated that they had bought in as investors in the restaurant and would share the year-end profits. After the restaurant collapsed, as shareholders, they shared the debt. A for sale sign was hung outside the restaurant. Our family looked at the restaurant. No one expected Hongfu Restaurant, once the king of the block, to come crashing down in just a few months. And the owner of Hongfu Restaurant, my cousin, vanished without a trace. No one knew where he went. After brother who ran away from home with a little punk girl, he thought life would be easy. But the money from my cousin ran out fast. He wouldn't work, and he couldn't handle labor. He lived by bullying people, but in the city, no one was scared of him. And no one was giving him food or drinks. Life fell apart overnight.
Brother Hu, I'm hungry. I want something to eat.
Eat, eat. All you do is eat. Where am I supposed to get money?
The two used to be so close, but now whenever they talk, they fight. Brother Hu blamed the girl for holding him back, and she blamed him for being useless.
Only now did they realize how stable their old life had been.
Brother who called up his old friends to borrow money, but either they didn't pick up or the line was busy. Only then did Brother Tiger realize that all his old street loyalty and brotherhood were fake.
When he had power and status, he was surrounded by friends. Now that he's down and out, not one of them truly wants to help him.
Brother Tiger's true nature came.
He started stealing and sneaking around again. If you walk by the river, shoes get wet. Brother Tiger thought no one saw him, but he got caught. The girl waited long and didn't see Brother Tiger come back. Pregnant, she went to look for him and had just reached the door
when she saw Brother Tiger being shoved into a police car.
Watching Brother Tiger get taken away, she was scared and full of regret. She thought of how good her cousin was to her. The police asked the girl questions.
She stammered and could barely get a few words out.
The cops saw her heavily pregnant, asked no more, and left. Brother who stared at the police car in despair, this time with his record. He was looking at years behind bars. In the wind, only that young punk girl was left, with nowhere to go.
Time smoothed everything over. My life grew steadier, and the restaurant business became more stable too. My apprentice even opened 2 shops and learned most of the craft. But more importantly, he learned to be an honest man. Business was booming, and my family was safe. This was the life I always wanted. Carrying a meal, I went to the mental hospital. My younger cousin got what he deserved, brought it on himself. Now he's gone mad, gone foolish. And that was the end of it. The rest of his life, let him live in this mental hospital. Son Kai worked hard at a factory out of town, diligent. He once sent me a letter with one line, Master. I was wrong. I'll be a better man. He found his own redemption. In the dark detention center, Brother who looked worn out, with none of his old fire left. Old Yang Yuanqing came to the shop with a young woman. The chairman of the Provincial Chamber of Commerce was a regular. As we got to know each other better, he actually said he wanted to introduce his younger daughter to me. I knew exactly what he meant. I gladly accepted. With my father-in-law's help, my little Mingy shop successfully expanded across the country. At last, I was able to give my family a happy and fulfilling life.